Alright, so I have been a busy boy and done a lot of work on my truck the last couple of days. Yesterday I didn't get as much as I wanted done because it rained mostly yesterday, so it made it kind of hard. Getting wet's not so much fun when you're dealing with electronics or things that shouldn't get wet. But you can tell I did a lot of work because I've had to put a battery reminder on my truck because just having the doors open and stuff, I've drained the battery. So I'll go through some of the things I've done. First things first, I replaced the door mirrors on both sides. Here's my old ones, there's a new one. I looked for a new door mirror because this driver's side, it's cracked there. I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's cracked real bad. And this mirror is real loose, and so it jiggles so much when you're driving. The mirror is useless. And so I replaced the door mirrors. I figured while I was replacing the door mirrors, I'd go ahead and replace the speakers as well, because I figure taking the door panel off is such a pain normally that it's worth doing both at the same time. And so I did do that. Put a set of Kenwood speakers in there. Nothing too fancy. Just a little upgrade from the factory speakers. Plus, this being a 98 means it's almost 19 years old. And speakers do go bad after a while, in my experience. This door actually is a lot easier. The door panel is a lot easier to take off than I've had door panels in the past. It's super easy. 2 screws here under the handle, there and there. This just pops off. There's another screw about here and one here. Once you get this off, if you don't need to take off the switches, you can just pull it and turn it, and then the panel, when you pull the panel off, this fits through a hole in the panel, so you don't have to unhook the switches if you're not replacing any of it. That's what I did, at least. On the driver's side, I did have to unhook the lock and unlock button, which now it doesn't work anymore, but it's corroded, so I probably just need to replace it. But yeah, so I didn't have to unhook it, and the door panel, it just lifts up. It doesn't have any of those stupid pops around the edges that a lot of them do. Like my Alero is terrible because it's made of that press, it's like a press wood with those plastic pops that push into the door. And the press wood breaks around where they hook in, and then the plastic pops break. This one, it's a full plastic door panel, and it just lifts up. There's no of those stupid poppers. So don't be afraid to replace your speakers or something yourself on this, because it's a lot easier than I expected, and I've done a lot of these. Next thing I did, when I bought this truck, it was a salvage style, but in a minor fender bender, but the airbags did blow. So I've replaced the passenger side airbag with a good one. Coming over to the driver's side here, I've also replaced the steering wheel. I no longer have a leather wrapped one, but the one I had, the interior of it, the stuff that made it kind of soft, had deteriorated to the point where it was leaking and would get black goop all over my hands anytime I drove. It's really gross. So I picked this one up from Junkyard. It's not great, so I've wrapped it with some paracord. My wife was out shopping. I asked her to pick me up some, and I asked her for like a navy blue or like an olive green or something a little bit more muted, and of course she picked me up neon orange. She loves to give me orange stuff because I used to live in Holland, and the royal colors there is orange, so she likes to get me orange stuff. Anyways, I do have a new airbag there. However, unfortunately, the plug is not the same, so it actually won't plug in. So, not sure what I'm going to do there. This airbag's from, I believe, a 99. When I went to the junkyard, it was a 99. And it doesn't work, so I need to see what year of plugs I can use, or excuse me, what years of airbags I can use for the plug, so I can plug one in. And then the next thing I've been working on is a new radio. And it's a Pioneer. I have the model number. It's a 28000 BS, so an AVH 2800 BS. So I had the 270 the AVH270 in my Infiniti G35, which I really like, but they don't make that one anymore. This is the newer version of that. I think it has a little bit higher resolution screen and a few other things on it. And I really liked it, so I figured I'd like this one. I'm still working on the bezel to clean it up, but I wanted to test to make sure everything worked. Unfortunately, not everything works yet. Namely the input for the, I ran a backup camera. So that's out in the back. I'll show you that here in a second. But I have it plugged into AV in, or video in. And when I put it in reverse, I don't think the camera is turning on. I do have it wired. I'll show you the wiring here in a moment. Or I'll tell you about it because I think I screwed the light back in. But everything else seems to be working just fine. One of the things I did do is I have a little bypass for the parking brake sensor. 3 reasons why I did that. One, I don't ever plan on watching a movie while I'm driving my truck. But I do have kids, and sometimes it's nice to put on something for them if I'm on a longer trip. 2, half the options are locked out unless you put your parking brake on, and that's annoying to me. I just want to be able to access menu options when I feel like accessing menu options and not have to have my parking brake on. And 3, it's a lot easier to wire up. That's also just lazy. Wiring up the parking brake is a bit of a pain because you have to kind of crawl up underneath. I was able to just wire this in when I was wiring everything else, and it saved me a few minutes of laying on my back. So it's worth the $5 or whatever that cost to do that. I know some people do. You know, they get a relay or something to put on there. I think it was like $5 or $6, and it does exactly the same thing, and it's already done, and it's easy, and I didn't have to think about wiring it. I just wired in the power, the parking brake cable, and the, oh, what is this? Switch for the remote, I believe. So yeah. I'll show you the backup camera now. That obviously is in the back. Let me pick this back up so it's not hanging by the cords. I have a key and accessory, and so it's just on. Unfortunately, I can't play any music for you because of copyright reasons, but I like the sound of the speakers. The old ones got plenty loud, but they got distorted pretty quickly as it got louder, and this one doesn't seem to do that. And of course, I have all the cleanup, all the screws and everything. So this is a backup camera here. I have it wired. Wires are coming down here. I ran the video cable just along the frame. And here's the power though. And this is the problem, is I don't think it's getting any power, even though I've wired it to the tail light. So the tail light has a black cable and a black cable, or yeah, black wire with a purple stripe on it. I used my multimeter, and it looked like the black with the purple stripe is the positive, and then just the plain black is the ground. But it's not turning on. It's not getting any power, I don't think. So if anybody has any recommendations on what else to do to wire that up correctly, or maybe I just have a bad one. Hopefully I don't have a bad one, because that would be a pain, because even though it was inexpensive, it still costs money, and I've had it for a little while now, and I don't think I can return it because I bought it a while ago in anticipation of installing it. So yeah. Anyways, if you have any questions about any of the work I've done, feel free to ask. Happy to answer those questions. Oh, and somebody mentioned that the key issue that I have is normal. But I'll turn my key off and remove it. So the key is in my hand. There's no key in the ignition. With the driver's side door open, it bongs like the key is in the ignition. If I put the key in the ignition but don't turn it, same thing. So this is what typically happens when you have the key in and your door open, bongs to let you know. But if I take the key out, it still does it. So I think there's a little sensor there that I have to deal with to fix that. So if anybody has any suggestions on that, I'd appreciate it. But I think at this point, I'm going to go ahead and return that puller to AutoZone since I had to borrow it, and then finish up my bezel. I'm just waiting for my Dremel tool to charge. I have one of those stupid ones that has a battery, which means you use it until the battery dies and then you forget to charge it. So the next time you need to use it, the battery's dead, so you have to charge it before you can use it. Alright, well, thank you for watching and have a great day. And again, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. Please like this video, dislike it if you dislike it, and share it. I also have some links to, some support stuff. The stuff I do, the stuff I show in the videos. I appreciate any support I get for that. If you like the videos, I have mainly my Amazon partnership. Link is in the description. Thank you for watching and have a great day. Alright, so I wanted to show you the finished product. This is the radio installed. It's a little deeper than I would like it to be. The bezel is a bit too small for it, so I couldn't pull it all the way forward into the bezel. One nice thing about it being deeper, two nice things, oh, it's filthy still, I need to wipe everything down, is that it won't get as much sun on the touchscreen. So if you had a touchscreen before, that can be an issue when you get a lot of sun on it. So having it be recessed just a little bit does mean it gets shade on it, and so it doesn't get some of the glare. No, I shouldn't say glare, but where the sun hits it, you can't see the screen. Have my radios preset. I've synced my phone via Bluetooth. The bypass for the parking brake is working, so I have all my menu options. I have not tried to play a movie in it. Like I said, I don't actually plan on doing that with it. I just want all my menu options available. Backup camera doesn't work. It's no good. The camera itself is no good. I've tested the power. Everything's perfect for power. It should be getting power, but it's not turning on. So I've submitted for a replacement. Should be getting that the first part of this next week. This is kind of ugly. This came loose. It was already loose, but me janking around with it, cutting out the bezel and stuff, caused it to really come off. So I glued it into place. It's kind of ugly. Not my best glue work. But one thing with the bezel, the way the one I got works is it kind of pinches the bezel, and the sides kind of pinch the edge of this. So I couldn't cut the bezel entirely. But I cut along the bottom and along the top to pull the radio forward, because it was wide enough, but it's not tall enough for the doubled-in radio. And so by cutting some of the bottom trim, I was also cutting some of the surround as well, and I actually plastic welded this and this together. So it's actually a fairly secure connection, because these are plastic welded together now, because I was just cutting with a Dremel tool as I was going through. The sides are not. It's just the top and bottom. And then I went ahead and epoxied it into place as well behind. So you can't see that part of it, but it is epoxied in the back. I still need to set the time. It is definitely not 12:43. But I had the battery unhooked until just recently, so it just needs to be set up now. Anyways, I'm extremely happy with it. I love this radio. Like I said, I had its predecessor, which I really liked, and then now I have this one, which I also like. It definitely has a higher resolution screen, has a few more options I may never use, has a bunch of applications, like Spotify, Pandora, Sirius. I have an aux cable plugged in, Bluetooth, the camera. I also have a USB plugged in. They're just in the glove box for now. I'm going to figure out a better place. I'll probably run them so that they're down here somewhere, but that's something to do down the road. It's not a high priority right now, but it has satellite radio options, which I don't have a satellite radio subscription, so I don't bother with that. I don't have Pandora on my phone, so and then just the radio. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions about this or the install, I know I didn't show a complete install. I've showed complete installs before with my other vehicles, and it's really not that different. The big difference is for the backup camera, I had to run 2 wires. So I had to run the AV cable for the video, the yellow AV cable from the back to the front, but this wasn't recognizing it being plugged in, so I had to come in here and go to camera settings, and I had to have backup camera input. I had to change that to on. I wonder if that will, no. So anyways, let's see. There we go. Now it's, I had to change that there, but I also had to run a second cable to the back of this head unit from the same power that I was getting the power to the camera for. I had to run another cable all the way up so that this would recognize there's a wire for recognizing when it's put into reverse. So that's something that you'll need to do as well. I did have to have a separate cable for that. This particular backup camera did not come with an AV cable that had, some of them have like a little extra wire for that. This one didn't come with that. So I had to run that extra wire. So I just ran like a 12 gauge wire or something like that. I just had some spare wire from another project years ago that I had laying around. So I just used that. So you want to make sure that you have that available. Otherwise, this will not recognize that you've put the vehicle into reverse. Anyways, thanks for watching. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to comment in the section down below. Please support this channel by using my Amazon partner link, which you'll find in the description of the video, and have a great day.